Hey everybody, welcome back to Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz, Jack and Later Still Like Jackson. And this one's going to be good. This is one I've been kind of surviving on. I've been digging it. I found it at a restaurant a couple years ago. But it's super simple. It's relatively quick. And then you can just kind of add whatever, make it your own, which is really cool. Before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Get the notifications in that corner down there with the bell. We put these up as close to Tuesdays and Fridays as we can every week. Everything we do is under $10, and if we can cook it, anybody can. Also, there's a link down the doobly-doo for our merch. We got fake hands and spatulas and flippers and aprons and stuff, which I should probably put on. All down on the thing. We're a small business. We appreciate it. And let's just get in the food. Y'all want to hear me talk food. Hey. All right, so this is super simple. You can make it as complicated as you want. All right, so first things first, you're gonna need some rice. You can use this 2-minute rice. You can use this 25 with the flavored stuff, or you can just use the regular rice, which is what I'm gonna use. The stuff with the different flavors and stuff is nice, but curry tends to overpower everything. All right, so it just depends on what you're gonna do. And speaking of curry, there's a couple of different brands that I use this pre-made stuff. This one's hot. This the Vermont and the mild. It's got different flavors on the different ones, and they come from different places. So you'd hope so. I really like the golden curry, the Japanese stuff. Vegetables. You're gonna need some green onion and some mushrooms in this one. You can add anything you want. You can put some chicken in this, pork, beef, whatever. I'm just going to use mushrooms this time. I'm kind of trying to lose weight and cut back stuff. So white mushrooms, bella mushrooms, up to you. Going to need some butter to cook those down. 1 or 2 tablespoons of mustard. We're not going to use that whole thing of mushrooms, but I'm going to cook them all just to make it during the week. So get you a decent pot. We're going to put 2 cups. This is a quick thing of rice. I don't use my knuckles to do this anymore because my knuckles are too big. So I put 2 cups of rice in here, and we're going to bring that to a boil over here. Cover it. Once it comes to a boil, put your rice in it, and we're going to go from there. Okay. So while we're working on that, everything else, your rice, go wash it. This is super dry, but you see all the little gritty stuff in there, but you want to get all the funky off of it. So wash it until the water comes clear out of there. Once it gets done, set it down. Your water is at a boil. You can go ahead and take that, and I cut something. I don't know. I think I burned the crap out of myself and cussed and screamed and was worried about demonetization, so I cut it out. So just go ahead and make sure to get all that rice in there, especially after you wash it. It's going to be a little wet in the thing. I stir mine for about a minute while it's nice and boiling, put the lid on it, and I cut it down. Now, some people leave it on there for 2 to 3 minutes, let it boil again, and then just let it sit. I let mine sit for 25 minutes while it's just sitting there being sad. Mushrooms and your vegetables, be sure to wash these, especially your damn mushrooms. Clean your mushrooms, all right? That's just nasty. Now, I did all of these. It's going to be like 2 or 3 of these. You only want like a cup of mushrooms and the 1 cup of rice, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of them, and then I'm going to put the rest in a little Tupperware thing. A teeny tiny Tupperware. See how small it is? Nice and cute. And go ahead and put that in there, and then save it for later when I make some more, or I can throw it on some salads or whatever. But you got these nice and clean. Get you a nice sharp knife because you don't want to just mush your mushroom. Shout out to Andy for the knife here. And then just go ahead and cut it. Now, cut it as thick or as thin as you really want it. Thin cooks a lot faster. Thick, I think, holds up better. But see how big this one is? That's more than a mouthful of one, just the mushroom without the rice. So go ahead and I quarter that one down anyway. Kind of cut them. But again, that's just up to you. Mushrooms are optional. You can put whatever kind of stuff you want to put in here. But I do this one as just kind of my go-to for my cutting back my on my weight loss is what I'm trying to say. Diet is a bad word, I think. Now, the green onions, you can go ahead and chop these up if you want to, but what I'm going to do is just use scissors later and put these in, or kitchen shears or whatever. Just don't use the good fabric shears. So, get you can see where it's marked off as the tablespoons. This is only just 1. See, and I'm just going to put it in here and put it at about medium high. So I'm going to put it about a rank 4.5 to 5 on a 9. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to put it at 5 out of 9 and let that melt down. Watch your finger. Now, once that gets melted down, we're going to go ahead and add our mushroom and stuff. Now, heads up, I'm watching the world culture stuff, talking about some movies and stuff today. That's just what I'm catching up on. So once you get that butter nice and melted down, go ahead and add your mushrooms. Be careful, it'll splatter. Again, you just want it to bubble. You don't want it to spatter everywhere. So if it's too high and it's popping and doing whatever, turn your heat down. So just put a little bit in here, just kind of do 1 layer of it. This is going to be about a cup's worth, 3/4 of a cup's worth, and that's going to be enough. Now the rest of this I'm going to cook later. So keep an eye on your rice, make sure it's doing good. So once you cook this down, so basically we're sauteing it. We're frying the mushrooms, right? So get you a wooden spoon, so you don't want the ancestors to come get you. Give them a little stir in here. You don't want to cook them down to where they're all just wilty and just straight mush. Also, we're going to cook them later with a little bit of the rice and the curry, so you don't want to overdo it. Get them to where they're just starting to brown, just starting to wilt a little bit at the edges of your mushroom here, and go ahead and pull those off. There'll still be, you know, that crisp in the middle with the cooked on the outside feel to it. Get your secret weapon, your paper or your paper towel with your plate, and just pull those off and set them to the side. All right, that's it. That's good enough for one of these pots. Just 1 cup of mushroom is that 1 cup to 3/4 of a cup worth of mushroom, especially because it cooks down. Okay, so that's good. Just the bottom of this one skillet. So now you got your rice. It's nice and cooked. It's been sitting there. It's got all the water absorbed into it, but it's still warm. You see how that is? See, it's not wet. There's not water at the bottom, and all your rice is cooked but not squishy. So you want to go ahead and put this on about 3 out of 4, and then add 2 cups if you want like a wet curry, or 1.5 if you want it like a drier kind of stuff where it's like thicker. So now these curries, they come in these little cups here where you can break them down in these little sentiments. I use the whole thing in this one, mostly because I don't trust it sitting around an apartment with just the curry thing sitting open. So go ahead and break that up, and if you want to help it out, like you see how it comes across, it's almost chocolate-like. But I try to break it down a little bit with a knife in the middle. Be careful because your hand's underneath there. So don't just go to stabbing it, but go ahead and break all this off, put it in there with your rice. I know it looks horrible. It looks like something coming out of college, but go ahead and take your green onions. I only use 2 here. Use my quote-unquote kitchen shears because there's shears in there in my kitchen. And go ahead and cut those down. Get rid of the roots. Boop. Get the rest. Just keep the roots off the end. And then keep giving it a stir while it's sitting there being warm. Like I said, I put it at about a 3 or 4, not near as high as it was before. We don't want to bring it to a boil, but we want this water to stay hot. So it'll start breaking down in here, and it starts, you know, the curry starts breaking down on the blocks, and it starts getting absorbed in the rice because you still have some room in there. So anytime you still have big blocks in there, you're welcome to cut it up. Take scissors, take your knife, chop it up. Give this a nice stir. Let it sit and simmer for anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes. It'll, you know, the more you do it, the longer you cook it, the more it'll thicken up. Again, if you want the thicker stuff, only use the 1.5 cups. I don't want it just congeals too much, I think, in my mouth. So once you've had it sitting there for 2 or 3 minutes getting that stuff down, most of your stuff broken down, most of the curry bricks broken down, go ahead and add the mushroom to it, and then stir that in. We're going to let that cook down, let that mushroom flavor kind of soak in there. But after that, you're really ready to go. Like, we've had it sitting, let it simmer with the mushrooms for another 2 to 3 minutes. And it's ready. It's like, this is as thick as I wanted. Some people like it thicker. Sometimes you can't even tell that there's any kind of liquid to the curry. Like, it just kind of soaks up. You see how it still slides in there really slow, but it's still liquid. That's the kind of curry rice that I enjoy. It's up to you. This is complete. Like, yeah, I've done it and put chicken in it. I've done it and put bacon and pork, other parts of the pig, I guess, because bacon is pork. Put that in there. I want to try it with beef, but I love this good curry. Like, the curry is just one of my favorite flavors. You noticed last week when I did the Spam stuff, I put curry powder on those. So this is good if you're just going to do a minimalist thing like chicken and rice. Everybody's chicken and rice. I add curry to it. I don't know. I don't think it makes it any healthier. It makes it healthier than the stuff that I generally eat. So it's better, but it's not that great. It holds up really well for meal prep as long as you keep it sealed and keep it in a fridge somewhere. So that works out really well. I don't know if it works any kind of good for diabetics and stuff because all the carbs in the rice, but it's better than usually going and choking down a burger or whatever. So yeah, you got to try this one. Let me know if you've seen it or heard about it before, whatever. I absolutely love this stuff. So yeah, let me know. And there you have it, folks. Like, awesome curry rice. It is so good. It just depends on what you put in it. If you do it differently, you want to see us do it differently, let me know. Put it in the comments. That's what they're there for. I love revisiting this stuff. I'm going to go back and try to put some other stuff, get some other different kinds of curry to use it, like the yellow or the red and stuff. That's just too cool. Let me know. You can also find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon. We're all those in between Paycheck's Kitchen. We're also on Instagram. That was probably what that was. And in between, we had to shorten it down over there. And you can find me, Osborne Nerdy, across the board on all those. All those are over on Twitter and on TikTok. But I'm generally just talking nerd stuff, painting miniatures, comic book, action figures, that kind of stuff, LARPing. Hit me up. We'll talk nerd stuff or we'll talk food stuff. And I will catch y'all later. There's the apron. Told you I was going to put it on. It's a lot darker than my shirt, but that's what I have it. Oh yeah, and here, show you my favorite pop holder we have. I don't know if you see it. Oh fuck, it's hot. It was a direct quote from me, and they put it on an oven mitt. This is great. I will see you next time. Y'all be safe.